All right, y'all. Something huge is brewing. And if you don't believe me, ask Shams Charania. Obviously, and check out the scroll at the bottom. Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks has been traded to the Washington Wizards. That is your first blockbuster trade of the trade deadline. It is a cold, snowy day in Denver, but the trade rumors are heating up and keeping me warm. Let's talk about today on the Anthony Davis Show, where all we ever do, really, is talk about Anthony Davis all day, every day. But yeah, what we're going to talk about how that has to do with Anthony Davis. What else did Shams have to say, right? So we're going to dive into that. Also, guys, we have a game tonight, 8 p.m. Central, Utah Jazz on the road. What does the advisor think is going to happen? We're going to dive into that as well. And then lastly, it's a name that we've talked about before that I am particularly interested in the Mavericks trading for. And it was confirmed yesterday that we are interested in that very guy. Cool. That makes me very, very happy. That's what I meant when I said these trade rumors and all of this that are heating up keep me warm on a cold, snowy day. I am your host, Ethan, the advisor Clayton. Welcome to the party. And by party, I mean dope podcast. This is Your Mavs, a Dallas Mavericks podcast where all are welcome, but y'all better behave. Lots to talk about. Let's dive in. All right, y'all. I'm going to start with bold predictions for tonight's game, right? That's the most concrete stuff. We got a game. We got to figure out what's going to happen on the court. So let's dive into it. We have already faced the Utah Jazz once this season, and we got it handed to us, right? And that was a loss at home. Today, we are traveling. We are in Salt Lake City, and interestingly enough, Utah is on the second half of a back-to-back. I don't care. I think they're still going to beat us tonight. There's a couple of things to keep an eye on tonight. First question I have, are we going to get cooked by Keyonte George again? Probably, yeah. Something that continues to be a glaring issue for the Dallas Mavericks is point of attack defending. Any small guard that is shifty and fast and knows how to get to the hoop, knows how to draw fouls, we struggle mightily against those types of players. And Keyonte George has found tremendous form this season, and he had a killer game last night in an overtime. I believe they did lose, so maybe that's a factor. It was an overtime game, and they're going to be stumbling from a loss. I still think we're going to lose tonight. Again, the Keyonte George factor, like, this guy is an all-star. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to watch him other than the game against the Mavericks, but like, it wasn't one of those situations where he's a decent player, but he shows out against the Mavericks. No, like, he's legit. And so I think we're going to get cooked by him. And to put specifics on it, right? If Lauri Markkanen plays both sets of a back-to-back, like, we're going to get cooked by both of them. But if he doesn't play, then that Keyonte George is easily going to drop 40 on us. Like, I don't really see any way around that. He's shooting the ball extremely well from the three-point line, from all spots on the floor. He's a multi-level scorer, and we are not qualified to guard and shut down a player like Keyonte George. Let's see what else. Okay, to put specific on the score line that I see happening. Okay, again, if Lauri Markkanen is playing, which quick side note, are the Utah Jazz actually going to tank this season? They might find themselves in a similar situation to the Mavericks, where, they have a talented enough roster where it's not easy to tank. Okay. And they started off the season pretty hot, and they've got some players that are truly finding some form right now. I don't know if they're tanking, but this is an interesting year for them because they own their draft pick. So they have incentive to tank. And after this season, they don't. So your guess is as good as mine on what their long-term outlook is going to be. They could be an interesting team down the stretch. Anywho, if Lauri Markkanen plays, the Utah Jazz will win 132-119. Yeah, they're going to put up 130 on us. No sweat on their part. If he doesn't play, and it's the charge is mostly led by Keyonte George, we're still going to lose, but it'll be closer, 127-121. Yeah, I don't think that the Jazz are an awesome team. I don't think that the Mavericks are awful. Like, when you look at our head-to-head matchup numbers, Yeah, it's going to be a fun game. There's not going to be very much defense. It's going to be a lot of scoring. Speaking of scoring, Cooper Flagg's going to hit 30 tonight. I just feel it, right? He had a nice bounce back game the other day with a 28-6 line. We're going to talk more about him in a minute, but listen, the rookie wall conversation, I think, is over. It shouldn't have started to begin with. It was just a 3-game shooting slump. But if we're going to get deeper into the weeds on what specific stats I'm looking for Coop tonight, again, 30 points, cool. That would be awesome. I'm ready to see him find his scoring form. One surefire way to do that is to hit more 3-pointers. So I'm going to say he's going to hit 4 of those tonight, maybe like 4 of 6 from the 3. And guys, he's really starting to pop on defense. Like, obviously, he's been a great defender from day one. But, when you're 18 and you're playing against the best players in the world, there's an adjustment period. So he's been good. Now I'm really starting to see him pop. And specifically, I see him putting up maybe 5 or 6 stocks tonight. Okay. 30 points, 4 3-pointers, 5 stocks for the main event. And then Daniel Gafford, this is going to be my last bold prediction for tonight. He has been in really good form lately. I hate the double big lineup. I think everybody that knows basketball and has watched that lineup on the floor agrees that that's terrible. Like, we do not need to start Anthony Davis at the 4 and Daniel Gafford at the 5. That's completely aside the fact. Daniel Gafford, when he is on the court by himself as the 5, he has been highly effective lately. Like, couple double-doubles, this and that. So, I see him continuing that. And, I mean, they don't have a lot of big-bodied centers that could battle him in the paint for rebounds or whatnot. So I see him having another highly impactful game, double-double type of deal. Man, he had like 5 offensive rebounds the other day against the Kings. That was pretty fun to watch. So, if he's found his form or he's just boosting his trade value, either way, I see that continuing tonight. All right, now let's get to the rumor mill. Let's talk about Anthony Davis. This is the Anthony Davis segment on the Anthony Davis Show. Okay. So first and foremost, again, Trae Young moved over to the Washington Wizards from Atlanta. And even before this part got tweeted out, Mavericks fans, including myself, were immediately like, here we go. The path is clear, Atlanta. What are you going to do about it? Then Shams Charania continued in his bomb tweeting, okay, that this now clears the way for the Dallas Mavericks to make a trade for a big salary. And then he specifically mentions Anthony Davis. And then later yesterday evening, he appeared on ESPN and was asked to expound upon that further. And he's like, the Hawks have confirmed interest in Anthony Davis. And it was reported earlier yesterday that Anthony Davis is open to being traded to either the Hawks or the Raptors. So Trae gets traded. They suddenly have a lot of cap space. Anthony Davis is specifically mentioned in those series of tweets. And then it's confirmed that the Atlanta Hawks have interest in Anthony Davis. Okay. Yeah. Like, this is some real smoke that's happening here. So guys, like, this is not just a pipe dream anymore. This is not just I really hope we get Reza Shea. I think we've done enough negotiating back and forth. I think there's been enough smoke. There's been enough posturing that's happened over the past couple weeks that, like, this is really starting to be a real thing. Okay. And as we draw closer and closer to the trade deadline, there's going to be more and more stuff that comes out, and it's pretty freaking exciting. Let's see if I missed anything on that. Okay. Something else reported on Anthony Davis yesterday. Again, this is from Tim McMahon, and I appreciate the comments. Like, hey, I've heard it a couple of times now. I don't super trust what Tim McMahon has to say. He's a talking head. He's paid to put colorful language out there about what's going on behind the scenes. No matter what, I'm gonna talk about any of those big reports. He is an official ESPN insider, so he definitely has some good contacts. What he said yesterday on his show was, the day before it was reported, Anthony Davis has his preference is to stay in Dallas and get that contract extension. Now, McMahon dove deeper into that yesterday and said, really, it's the contract extension that is the priority. Okay, yeah, like that was pretty much what all of us, that's the conclusion that everyone came to immediately after that tweet. Like, duh, you want your contract extension. And as I said yesterday, like if he's going to stick around, how about a 3-year, $75 million type of deal? Like, we're not doing that Supermax business, pal. Like, we're not committing almost $300 million. Yeah. And then, Clutch Sports came out yesterday and said, it's not seeming likely that the Mavericks are going to offer that contract extension. So they're asking the Mavericks to more aggressively canvass the league to generate interest. So he could be moved to someone that would be more likely to do the contract extension, like Toronto. Okay. Toronto is specifically mentioned in statements like that because they have a reputation of paying their guys. Like, if you play well, you get a bag, right? You get a bag and you get a bag. Like, that's how they operate in Toronto. Whether or not they're like superstar quality, you're going to get a superstar bag. So, that obviously, if your ultimate goal is to get a big bag, you're going to go to the teams that you think you can get it from. Most likely. Yeah, I lost my words there for a second. But that's not all that was reported on AD yesterday. I'm going to have to get through this next little bit fast because we got plenty more to talk about. Continuing on with the McMahon report yesterday, he's continuing to be convinced that Patrick Dumont wants to see AD, Kyrie, and Coop on the court together. And that in his mind, he interprets that as like this trade is not happening until those guys are on the court together. That's his preference. But now the big question is, if that's true, and if that's really how Patrick Dumont feels, like, are we actually going to see those three on the court before the trade deadline? And that's where McMahon has serious doubts about this thing. I disagree with what he is saying. Okay. And then the last thing that was reported about Anthony Davis yesterday is that the Milwaukee Bucks, are officially showing interest in our guy. What could a trade package look like with the Bucks? Yeah, you're going to want to stifle your vomit for this one. Okay. In order for salary matching to bring in Anthony Davis, the Bucks would have to send out Miles Turner on a $25 million contract, Kyle Kuzma on a $22 million contract, and someone like Kevin Porter Jr. on $5 million. That would be the salary matching piece to make that deal happen. I think I'm going to be sick, y'all. I do not need or want Kyle Kuzma near my team. I'm not going to say that there's bad blood, but there were a couple years ago at the trade deadline, we were either going to trade all of our draft assets for Kyle Kuzma, or we were going to make 2 trades to bring in Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington. And that's what wound up happening, was that second option. But the first option was on the table first, and Kyle Kuzma was like, yeah, I don't want to go to Dallas. They're not going to win a championship. And yeah, technically he was right, but I don't want that energy here. And also he's been pretty terrible the past couple of seasons. He's having a little bit better of a year this year, but I don't want him on my team. No, thank you. I'm going to need a third team to be involved if we're going to be talking about trading with the Bucks. To be fair, guys, I could be talked into Miles Turner, right? A rim protecting stretch 5. That's something that we haven't had like basically ever. I could be talked into Kevin Porter Jr. He is showing some good chops in 3-point shooting, playmaking. Those are all things that we need more of desperately. But again, me personally, I'm not going to do a 1-to-1 Mavericks and Bucks only type of trade because you can send Kyle Kuzma somewhere else, right? We don't want that. So I'm going to move past the AD stuff. We got plenty of other things to talk about. I mentioned in the intro that there is a player that we've talked about a bunch on this show that I love. The Mavericks are actually showing interest in. We are one of 3 teams that are showing interest in the Chicago Bulls guard, Coby White. Let's freaking go. The other 2 teams are the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Clippers. Okay, of the 3 teams, I would say the Timberwolves have the most desperate need for Coby White's services, right? So they're going to be most motivated to throw a pretty decent haul at Chicago for Kobe. And I think it's worth keeping an eye on because the Timberwolves they actually have a lot to play for right now. They're playing incredibly well. They're, I believe, the 4th seed in the West, and if they bring in another playmaking guard to play alongside Anthony Edwards, I watch out, y'all. But the Mavericks, this is a really interesting prospect for us, and I'm very hyped about this. If we bring in Kobe White, he serves as a second playmaker on the floor. I say second because he does not need to be our primary scoring option. Like, he does not need to be our number one really at any point. And I'm thinking about a vision of Kyrie and Kobe on the court together. Don't ask me about the defense. I'm not going to talk about what that looks like defensively. Gross, probably. But where was I going with that? Oh, as a second playmaker on the floor, our offense would hum. And we saw little glimpses of that in Chicago earlier this season. They play at an extremely fast pace. And in Chicago, Josh Giddey is their number one option. And whenever they have a little 1-2 punch going, Josh Giddey is flying all over the place, dishing the ball all over the place. Kobe White gets a lot of catch and shoot opportunities, corner threes, whatnot. And so that Chicago offense looked incredible at the start of the season. And then they've hit a lull. Pretty much everybody in the Eastern Conference hit a lull at the same time. Somebody's got to win that conference, by the way. But they played an extremely fast pace. I think if we can have some sort of mirroring of that offense with Kobe White here in Dallas and Kyrie Irving returning from injury, like, we're going to look a lot better than we have, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Let's see what else. This is kind of a low-key buy low type of deal. Because if you look at Kobe White, he's having a down shooting year and scoring year. He has hurt his calf twice, right? He's not playing currently because of a calf injury. And the Chicago Bulls they've hit a lull. They're not playing well. They don't have a ton to play for right now. And Josh Giddey is out with an injury. So I see this as kind of a low-key buy low type of scenario. I would love to be able to get away with highway robbery here and get Kobe White, not in an AD trade, but like a Daniel Gafford trade. The salary matching is there between those two players. And, the big thing, thinking about Kobe White long-term, is that he is going to be due for a contract extension. He's probably going to expect somewhere between that $20 into $25 million range. And we can run it through the rest of the season to see if he's worth that kind of money. And if not, we don't have to commit to him long-term. That's another reason why I think, it could be a buy low. The Bulls know that they have a looming contract extension conversation that's going to be happening over the summer. And they may not be willing to throw those big bucks because they threw pretty decently big bucks at Josh Giddey. Let's move on. The last segment of the day, I want to talk Cooper Flagg. I know I already mentioned what his comeback game looked like the other day. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Something that people aren't talking about from that game, he only had 1 turnover, right? So he got moved back into the point Coop experience, starting with a double big lineup. It's just ugly basketball. So you would expect to see, okay, this is a rookie being played out of position with a terrible offensive lineup. We're going to see some turnovers. We're going to be coughing up the ball a lot. And that has not been the case at all. I am not a proponent of the point Coop experiment, by the way. I don't want to see it anymore. But I am encouraged that whenever we are throwing it at him, he is playing much, much better in that role than he was at the beginning of the season. So you can see the quick and expedient evolution of Cooper Flagg's game. Anywho, I totally glossed over this last week. It was announced that Cooper Flagg was the Western Conference Rookie of the Month 2 months in a row. Same as Con Knipple. So what does Twitter do? They're like, this rookie of the year chase is neck and neck. I don't know why all the rankings have Cooper Flagg at 1. Well, guys, if we're talking head-to-head Coop versus Con, Coop clears, okay? And here's why. 1, elite two-way play from Cooper Flagg. He is averaging right now 2 stocks a game. And if you want to compare that side to side to Con, he's averaging 0.9 stocks a game. So Cooper Flagg is showing on both ends of the floor that he knows how to play. Like he was NBA ready. I'm not saying that Con wasn't NBA ready on the defensive side of the ball, but Cooper Flagg has a much larger impact on that side of the ball. Okay, moving on. Second reason that Cooper clears Con Knipple, he is averaging less turnovers than Knipple, even though he's been played out of position. He's being asked to do a lot more. He has a lot more responsibility for this team. He's being asked to handle the ball in the clutch moments, get up shots in the clutch moments, and he's still only turning the ball over 2.2 a game versus Con Knipple's 2.5. Okay, so advantage Coop. This last one is what makes me say end of discussion. Coop right now leads the Dallas Mavericks in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Guys, if this keeps up, he will be the first rookie to do so since, wait for it, Michael Jordan. Okay, this guy is 19 years old, being played out of position on a terrible offensive team. He is carrying us in the clutch, and he is leading us in pretty much every statistical category. First rookie to do that since Michael Jordan. I think that really sways the moves the needle firmly in Cooper's direction. So I have no bad things to say about Con Knipple. He is a fabulous rookie. He is a fabulous player. He's going to be very good for a very long time. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. I want to see Con Knipple play with Cooper Flagg on the Dallas Mavericks. But if we're talking about who's the better player, who's going to win Rookie of the Year, it's Cooper Flagg. Okay, you can tell everybody that's just facts. Okay, man, this was a longer episode, but obviously each day we're getting more and more meaty stuff to talk about. So thanks for hanging around this entire time. Let me know what you're thinking about all this in the comment section, but please make sure you hit like, subscribe, all that jazz. I love hanging out with you guys in the comment section. But y'all have an awesome Thursday. Party on.